FBN Capital, the investment banking and asset management business of Nigeria's first bank, is hosting an investor conference in Lagos, Nigeria. Wole Famurewa caught up with Jite Okoloko, who's CEO of Notore Chemical Industries, who was at the conference, and asked him about opportunities in the petrochemical sector.
Petrochemicals is a huge opportunity if you're talking specifically about petrochemicals, in the sense that your raw material for petrochemicals is natural gas. You know, whether you're using your C1, C2s, which are your methane, or you're using heavier gas properties, which are the liquids to make actual, other types of petrochemicals. But for what we do, you know, of course, that we're more of a gas producing country than an oil producing country, and a substantial amount of our gas is being flared today. Now, being able to actually take a product that's being flared, and convert it into an end product, not changing the composition of the gas like an LNG plant to export the gas to other markets, but actually taking that gas, turning it into an end product, and using that product to create value in the agricultural sector, I think is quite remarkable, and is a way for us to grow that agricultural sector.
Let's talk a bit about fertilizers in particular. Like I mentioned, it's a key theme in the whole broader agric policy of the government and trying to transform that. Talk to us a bit about the issues relating to subsidies and the weaknesses there, and of course getting the end product, the fertilizers, to the users, which of course are the farmers. How has that changed, or should I say, how is it changing going forward?
I think Notore is actually pioneering a new method of getting fertilizers to farmers. Prior to this, we've had I've always called it a failed procurement system, whereby government will procure fertilizers and then subsidize it to the state governments and also to indirectly to the farmers. That system has never worked because all the subsidies have always been stripped by middlemen, and then what we see at the end of the day is that 70% of fertilizers prior to this time came in through government channels, but were also recycled back into the commercial channels. What we have done as a company, is to build our own channels, deep into the farming communities, and take fertilizers in small packs, in affordable sizes to the farmers. That has actually changed the way farmers see fertilizers today. We also have demonstration plots where we actually train farmers on best practices, and then you now begin to see miracle yields because farmers are now using the right type of fertilizers, unadulterated type of fertilizers, using it at the right time. Because one of the other problems under the old procurement system was, even when the fertilizers was procured, it never got to the farmers at the right time. But one thing we must also say is that fertilizers on its own, will not do the trick. It must also be done and used in conjunction with improved seeds that respond positively to the application of fertilizers. And that's why we have a subsidiary called Notore Seeds as well too, so we can take a bundle of best practices to the farmer, including the right education.
So all in all, your thoughts on the agric policies of the government, how do you see things changing over the next, say, 1 to 2 years?
The fact that the ministry, the current ministry and the minister and the government direction is that they're no longer looking at agriculture as a developmental project, but more as a business, and also with the Central Bank of Nigeria coming out with the NISOL program, allowing us to properly link value chains in the agricultural sector. Clearly is going to create a new set of opportunities. It's going to attract new types of people. Today we have an aging profile of our farmers, only retirees going to farming. We need to now begin to work towards changing the mindset, and that's what Notore does, switching the mindset of the farmer from subsistence to commercial, so that maximizing yields per hectare and creating a channel to take the output into markets and eliminating post-harvest losses of over 45% should be the new direction. And you're going to need all types of stakeholders working on that. The private sector, the right policies to drive that and encourage people in there, the right availability of financing to fund people who are interested in investing in different aspects of the agricultural value chain.